afternoon. My name is Len Shudo. This afternoon I have an honored guest, Captain Harris, who was the commanding officer on the BANG in her last years of being a United States Navy submarine and before it was turned over to Spain. So good afternoon, sir, and thank you for doing this interview with us. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Lenny, and I appreciate you doing the interviews.
Well, thank you, sir.
Especially our World War II guys.
Well, we'll start with an easy question, if you don't mind. Would you kindly tell me how you got to submarines and how many years you spent in the Navy?
In the Navy, from the Naval Academy in 1958. Before officers could go into submarines, they had to spend a year at least on a surface ship. That was to screen us a little bit, make us apply to sub school, and take a look at us first as a junior officer. So my first year was on the USS Pocono, an AGC group command ship. And that was during the first Lebanon crisis. That ship was tied up for 102 days to the pier, the mole as they called it, in Beirut, as the command ship for the commander-in-chief of the United States forces in that area of the world. After Pocono, while I was on there, I applied for submarine school and went to submarine school December of '59. So I was on there a little over a year. Probably had that screwed up.
That's all right. You know, that's one of the things I'm finding as I'm doing these interviews. Things have a tendency to all blend together.
Things have a tendency to blend together. And I noticed touring the submarine yesterday, things had a tendency to get much smaller in the hatches.
That's also probably because we're just a little bit larger too.
Went to submarine school in July of '59 and graduated in December of '59.
Yeah.
My first submarine was the USS Sarda. After that, just trying to follow your questions, I spent a little over 28 years in the Navy.
28 years in the Navy. How many submarines were you on for your whole career?
Four submarines.
4 submarines. Was the BANG the last one?
Yes, BANG was the last one.
Okay.
Not being nuclear power trained, once you have command, you go off and do something else.
I know that well from my branch of the service.
my subspecialty was telecommunications, so I spent the rest of my career after BANG in that world.
Really? How many years or months were you on the BANG?
Because of the turnover to Spain, as the last, it wasn't a full tour, which would normally be 2 full years. It was about 15 months.
15 months. Of the 15 months you were on board, based upon your opinion as the commanding officer, how did you find the crew and how did you find the condition of the ship? And did you enjoy being on that particular ship? More than any of the others?
Loved it, more than any of the others, sure, because you're CO. You don't have a better job than that. But the crew was, like all submariners, top-notch. They were good. As far as the ship, the powers that be knew we were getting rid of it. It was the oldest diesel submarine in the United States Navy at the time, oldest meaning longest in service. So there wasn't extra money for things that perhaps needed doing, so we had some problems material-wise with the ship. You were quartermaster. You asked about the condition of the ship. Did the master gyro tumble a lot on you?
No.
No. Well, that was one of our problems, so I thought maybe you had it then.
Well, that's probably sounds like an ETINC problem to me.
It is, but the quartermaster uses it.
Well, that's cool. I'll just ask your thoughts about when you were on the ship and then you found out that she was going to be turned over to Spain. What were your thoughts and feelings, and what did you gauge the thoughts and feelings for the guys that were on the boat with you?
I think my thoughts and feelings are probably pretty much like the guys on the boat. It was our assignment, it was our job, we were going to do it and do it the best we could, and we did. It was very sad at the end, but during the period working up to it, there was a lot of work to it.
Yeah. How much time before she was turned over did you have to get her ready and sail her and be with her before she was turned over?
From the time we got word it was going to be turned over?
Yeah.
Lenny, I really don't remember. Probably in the order of 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, okay.
We had made a deployment to the Caribbean, Operation Springboard, as you remember, every spring. We'd go down there, and I think we knew about it then, so probably 5 or 6 months.
Okay. I'm not familiar with how she was turned over. Did they come and pick her up in the United States, or did you guys say it was Spain?
They came, the whole crew, and the captain, and the whole wardroom. Had some shore training at sub school just to familiarize with our system. They were all submariners from the Spanish Navy. Then they were reported on board, and we went to sea with as many of them as we could hold on a daily basis for a couple of weeks. Go in and out, and with the Spanish crew, as they became more familiar with the ship and our guys felt more confident in their abilities, then we'd turn
more and more of our
duties, operational duties, helmsman, maneuvering watch, in the maneuvering room, over to the Spanish.
Okay.
And the last day at sea, of course, the Spanish Navy, as many of the European navies, they had wine on board. Last day at sea, the Spanish skipper asked if he could prepare the lunch for the wardroom, so we had a nice Spanish lunch, but we also had a few bottles of wine.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm not sure we were zigzagging up and down the channel, but needless to say, I never told the group commander or the division commander that we did that, but it was part of the turnover.
Sure, an in-house secret, as they
Well,
say.
you know, we had to make them comfortable with the ship, and that was part of them being comfortable with the ship.
And that's cool. That's really cool. I'm glad you shared that with me. That's really cool.
So a lot of the work up to turning things over was just like any ship turnover. You think of your FBM days,
Yeah.
you have to inventory everything. And they were very concerned that they got every last foul weather jacket, and they wanted a complete ship. So they watched us very carefully that we didn't remove anything from the ship.
Now,
Spent a lot of time inventorying gear.
being a quartermaster, one of the questions I have is the chart portfolios. Were they all turned over as well?
All up to date, turned over, yes.
Cool.
Everything was. In fact, we probably turned over more than we should have, but we turned over quite a bit.
Can you describe to me a little bit about the ceremony that was involved for the final official decommissioning of the Bang in the United States Navy and the commissioning of the Garcia in the Spanish Navy?
Yes, it was a traditional change of command ceremony in that I spoke and the new commanding officer spoke and so forth, but we also had a consul general or a consul diplomat from Spain, consul in Boston there, and also another Spanish dignitary. I can't remember what he was, but they all spoke. So we had, I think I have the program here, I got it so I can see the crew, but I had some remarks, and the last paragraph of my remarks I remember was in Spanish, so that had the Spanish crew lined up on the pier. Our crew was all lined up in formation on deck. Then we had the decommissioning ceremony, commencing with the national anthem, the lowering of the colors, and our crew disembarking one at a time. I was at the brow and shaking each hand, and I got very teary.
That's cool.
I still do, think of it.
Yeah.
And then after our crew marched off, I was the last one to leave. The flag was hauled down. Their crew marched on one at a time. Took their positions, raised their colors. The new CO made some remarks. That was, he was lieutenant commander at the time. He was a commander later on, eventually Captain Benito Cherubini. They ceremoniously set the first watch.
Yeah.
There was a prayer, and we honored the dignitaries with saluting them off the ship, or the Spanish did, and that was the end of it. And we went to the whole club, and I tipped a few, and had a reception. But
That's cool.
It was their ship then, and we left a lieutenant commander as a liaison officer, our operations officer, Bill Iber, Lieutenant Commander Bill Iber. In case there were any final questions or problems, he'd handle those, and he did go to sea a few times with them. And Then the Spanish took the ship.
Cool.
You may have heard the story when they pulled into their home port in Cartagena.
No.
They, it was new to the Spanish to have the high sail, the guppy through.
North Atlantic sail.
Yeah, rather than the older step sails. So they had rigged plywood sailplanes hanging from the top of the bridge, and the top of the sailplane, and they had these black plywood sailplanes so that it looked like a nuclear submarine steaming into Cartagena. So they had a sense of humor to them.
That's good.
Is there anything that we haven't covered that you would like to say or comment on, or any thoughts and things that I have not covered that now's your opportunity to say those?
My time on Bang was extremely fond memories, or created extremely fond memories. Of course, I love Springboard. I love the Caribbean. I love getting away from New London in the winter. So that was a nice thing for me to do, and I think a good thing for the ship to do in its final few months.
Yes.
And on the way home, we stopped in Miami and had a good liberty. Of course, St. Thomas I love. And,
Yeah.
during Springboards, we're quite often staying in the house. But at any rate, it was a good time on Bang, good people, and I really enjoyed my time.
Well, sir, I wanted to say thank you very much. I appreciate you doing this interview with me, and it was a privilege and an honor doing it with you. Thank you, sir.
And I appreciate you doing all this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.